crypto is a scam. It is magic
Right.
internet money. How do you go from cash to crypto?
What I quickly learned in YouTube University, where you're in your pajamas for 2 weeks, and you're trying to figure out what is this, and then coming out of my room, this is gonna change the world.
When I talk to women, it's also like, they never thought they had that chance 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It almost seems like it's too good to be true.
This is the opportunity that we missed.
Welcome back to another episode of Girl in the Verse, the video podcast, the place to be if you are new to Web3, curious at all about crypto, but you don't want to get too technical. Hey, I'm your girl Melina, content creator, hype woman, asking all the questions so we can together better understand this technology that will change our lives. Now, I do have a short favor to ask. If we can take this moment to like, follow, subscribe, drop your questions down below. This not only helps the YouTube algorithm know you want this type of content, but it also amplifies me, the creator, in producing more videos like this. Now, today on the show, we do have a special guest, Dr. Tonya Evans, who is an author, speaker, podcast host, professor at Penn State Dickinson Law. Evans has also solidified her position as a global thought leader in fintech, Web3, intellectual property, and financial inclusion. Hello and welcome.
Hey there, how are you? It's good to see you and to be here with you talking about our favorite topic.
Yes, well, for sure. And of course, it's such a pleasure to have you here. Now, obviously, to get the ball started here, I really want to hear from you. What was your journey like to enter Web3? Was it even Web3? Was it crypto? What was that moment for you? And when did this happen?
I think my entry point was the intersection of my existing expertise at the time. I first started to hear about Bitcoin and blockchain back in 2017. As a law professor and a lawyer, primarily in the intellectual property area, I was interested in this concept of open source software being used to leverage and build just the next wave of the internet, whatever that meant. We weren't even saying Web3 at the time, back in 2016, 2017. And I didn't know about the magic internet money. I'm pretty risk averse. I'm licensed to practice law in 4 states. I'm trained to see everything that could possibly go wrong and avoid and mitigate risk. So I was perfectly happy with my little ATM and my direct deposit and, PayPal. And I didn't see any reason. I just didn't get it. I didn't understand the why. But what I did get is that when people start to build on top of open source software protocols and try to monetize their space, that people were building decentralized applications and decentralized autonomous organizations, I was starting to get questions both from entrepreneurs and founders, and also my students who were very well versed in digital technology per se, but in a finite way. Yes, texting, yes, they're digital natives, et cetera, but not really fundamentally understanding or appreciating software, and specifically software that enables the ability to exchange value, not just messaging, right? It was good with content. We're using the same peer-to-peer technology, the internet, consensus, which kind of was a game changer, hashtags, thank you, Satoshi. But some of those things are being used in a novel way now for money. And so I wanted my students to understand what I quickly learned in YouTube University after falling down what we know, we call it the proverbial rabbit hole, where you're in your pajamas for 2 weeks and your hair is, I'm not sure if you're definitely drinking, but you're not eating. And you're trying to figure out, what is this? And then coming out of my room during the holidays, I was visiting my mom for Christmas, like, this is going to change the world. And with my little tinfoil hat on, and kind of fast forward to now, I always tell people your entry point, because it really was relevant to me, was where my existing expertise and interests lied. And then that will always take you to the next question. And that was my entry point. Went on to create the first blockchain, crypto, and law online certificate program at a law school. I became the chair of the MakerDAO's foundation that helped it toward its full decentralization. So that was a trial by fire, learning about DeFi, right? Which is the leveraging of crypto in a specific way. And that was off to the races after that. It's been really, personally and professionally, has been extraordinary, to really be on the cutting edge, of something completely new here.
Yeah, and you know, we're talking about all of this, and yet I'm sure there are still people watching this like, well, where do I start? What do I do?
Right.
What do I Google, right? And I get these questions asked to me all the time, you know, and you've written this book, and I love the title. It's called Digital Money Demystified: Go from Cash to Crypto Safely, Legally, and Confidently. Why don't you
Mhm.
explain to us what that means? Because you're right. A lot of people just automatically assume crypto is a scam, it is
Right.
magic internet money. So, how do you go from cash to crypto?
Not only cash to crypto, but in a safe way, right? Because
Yes.
especially last year, in particular, the year that shall not be named in the crypto ecosystem, also known as the crypto contagion, we had a lot of nefarious actors. And I think anytime you have the potential to earn a significant amount of money or steal, you're always going to have bad actors. I have bad actors texting me every day. I have them in my spam folder every day. I don't throw out email. I don't throw out my phone, although sometimes I want to. And I damn sure don't throw out my government issued currency, also known as fiat, although it has its issues, right? It's about, to your point, what are the resources that you can rely on as a matter of trust? And it's interesting that trust comes up constantly in the crypto space. Sometimes people describe it as a place where you don't need trust. And I think that's a disingenuous way, or a ill-informed way to describe it. Trust, I don't have to trust you. You don't have to trust me, because our new intermediary, although I think that's a bad word in the crypto space, would really be, it's not even an intermediary, but let's go with that language, would be the code, something that is transparent. Even someone who's not a technologist, I know how to search a block explorer. I know when I put a transaction through and it's broadcast to the network, I can see it in real time. I can receive funds, or send funds within seconds or minutes, or maybe hours if there's congestion, but not 3 to 5 business days or 14 business days, right? So that is definitely a game changer. But how do you get there is to separate fact from fiction. And that's why my book doesn't have a dog in the fight. I'm not pushing someone. I have my own personal opinion. I think everyone, women in particular, systemically marginalized folks who haven't been able to meaningfully participate in accumulating generational wealth, etc., absolutely. And I can make a case for that. But before you even get there, or if you've had a bad experience and you got quote unquote wrecked because you bought high and then it was an issue of timing, I want you to take a step back, take a breath, and really start to challenge the myths that I believed, perhaps before you were in your rabbit hole experience, you believe too. Crypto is only for criminals. Right now, as we're having a conversation, we're in day 2 of Sam Bankman-Fried's trial, for example, from FTX, where I've been so frustrated again with the coverage from mainstream media, because I find it to be lazy. It's kind of like people are at a lunchroom giggling about, oh, that's so stupid. Isn't that stupid? Yeah, that's stupid. Can you believe that? That's stupid. It's that crypto. It's stupid. There are over 30 or 40,000 different types of coins and tokens. Not all are created equally. What Sam is accused of doing is fraud. That's a fraud issue. Misappropriating client funds and misleading investors. That's a fraud issue. That's not a crypto issue. You could use any asset to do that, right? So I just wanted to right size the conversation. I want, I believe in prudent crypto investing, which sometimes people call a misnomer, but you can do that. It's not like you're not going to make mistakes. I've had plenty, and I talk about it in the book, but crypto is only for criminals, a myth. Crypto is all just one big scam, a myth. Crypto is bad for the environment. I would bet that those who are working in the crypto space will be first movers in addressing and resolving a lot of the environmental issues. So
Yeah.
those were some of the things I wanted to tackle head on, because it's the misinformation that will keep people from participating. Not redlining, not discrimination, not any of those traditional barriers. Are misinformation, lack of information, and ignorance in the space will hold us back. And so that's why I created Digital Money Demystified.
Why for you? You are a black queer woman. I'm a woman. There's not a lot of women here, and I keep having to say that all the time. And my girlfriends look at my Instagram page and like, "Oh my god, it's so cute." They never ask me about crypto. They're not interested. Why do you think women are still not here?
It's interesting because this is almost like a both and issue because I agree with you. On one hand, I've seen statistics and I did a ton of research for the book to kind of, I wanted to support with facts and figures. And I was fascinated by e- one statistic in particular. Even though women are in a definite minority in terms of crypto holding or ownership, participation, either day trading, swing trading, et cetera, or just long-term holding, right? Or hodling, as we would say. Um, the curiosity factor is quite high. I also feel like women don't want to be embarrassed, and we tend to be more cautious. Many of us, whether you're married, in partnership, or alone, we tend to, for in many ways, run our household.
Yeah.
We are responsible not just for ourselves and our retirement, but children, if you have them, our partners, and we take that very seriously. And because of that, we tend to be conservative, not from a political point of view, but in terms of money, tend to be less risk tolerant than men who are like, oh, we'll just go in and we'll figure it out. We actually want to be overqualified and want to learn everything before we participate, where men, and this is a broad generalization, tend to be less risk averse, more tolerant of it, and that will just fail forward, right, confidently. And so I think it's that gap in confidence, and that's why I included that word in the title as well, that there are a lot of folks who are crypto curious, but one, don't know the questions to ask. That quadrant where you don't even know that you don't know, you just know it's different. Your financial advisor isn't talking about it, your friends aren't talking about it, so then it must not be a thing. Where you and I know that the first mover advantage is a very powerful position. And so there's curiosity, but we have to bridge the divide between the fear of getting in and the fear of missing out. I think is like the gap where you folks like you and I can really, you and me can really step in and kind of bridge that divide.
Have you tried at all explaining this to women? And I'm mentioning women, but any like minority group, BIPOC, like we said, queer, black, anybody right now who probably, I when I talk to women, it's also like they never thought they had that chance 20 years ago,
Mm,
30 years ago, 40 years
that's right.
ago, 50 years ago. So it almost seems like it's too good to be true. How do you explain it?
That's interesting, and I think there's a lot of validity to that because when I think about those who were able to take advantage, for example, in the dot-com boom, tend to be white cisgendered men. Those who participated in the Industrial Revolution in a meaningful way to get ahead of the curve. When I think of the real estate boom, we know that crypto, for example, is taxed as a capital asset, and it's capital assets that really create generational wealth. It's not really about a high income. But generally speaking, women, people of color in general, Black folks in particular, have been taught you better get your education. After you get your education, maybe you get you get your MRS, marry well. Be sure that you buy a home, get some life insurance, get a good government job or the equivalent of there, and then you'll be taken care of. And this economy just that isn't the nature of this economy, particularly when you think about the autonomy and self-determination, the empowerment of quote unquote being your own bank, which is a lot of responsibility. But the idea of talking to people to convince them or empower them to see, I don't want to convince anybody, but empower them to see this is the opportunity that we missed because think of crypto as like this super microcosm of two other microcosms. We have finance, not a lot of us leading the way there. They're more every day, but it is what it is, right? And then you look over on the technology side, same thing. And so finance and tech got together and had a baby, and now it's cryptocurrency. What it's like the microcosm of the microcosm where we are underrepresented exponentially almost, right? But I do think, and I hope that you have found too, that we find more and more women every day who are participating. I could list dozens and dozens and dozens. We have binders of women here in the crypto ecosystem, but we seem to be somewhat distributed and decentralized around the world too. So I love opportunities like this to have conversations with you, and women, folks of color need to see us. And so your platform to be able to give this information, not just on a throwaway women in crypto panel, but for example, I'm flying to Dubai to do a regulatory panel. Like
Yeah,
my
good.
very peer, my existence, your existence is enough. I don't need another women in crypto panel. I am a woman in crypto. You know what I mean? So we
Yes.
have to shift the narrative too to focus on our areas of expertise, not the throwaway panel of 10 women talking for 20 minutes about women in crypto to ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I mean, as women, we know the women stuff. We've been screaming it. You just haven't heard us yet.
Right.
Right?
That part.
Like we amongst women, that's all we talk about is being girls. Like
Right.
that's all we do. We don't need to do it again to showcase it, you
Absolutely.
know? Tonya, thank you so much for being here. Where can we learn more about you? I'm going to put, I always say this. I will never DM you. Tonya will never DM you. Please make sure that these are the only links you click on. But Tonya, please let us know how we can purchase your book, how we can connect with you and contact you, and maybe attend one of the speeches and panels that you will be touring the world this year.
Absolutely. And I would love that. I would love that. And let's you and I continue to stay in touch for sure. All of the information for the book is at digitalmoneydemystified.com. One of the important things about learning in the space is it's never just a one moment in time. Like I'm going to do this and then I'll know everything. I learn something new literally every day. And some days it does feel like, drinking from a fire hose. But if I can do this, if my mom, she's a boomer, can do this, I promise you that you can figure this out. If you can set up your own bank account, if you can install an application on your phone, uh, if the thing that you wanted the most, the only thing separating you from that is a wallet, I assure you, you would figure it out. It's like for me, it's Beyonce tickets again, but I digress. So you can go to digitalmoneydemystified.com. I have master classes there. I have my community, my Digital Money Demystified community, to connect the book with the companion website, which has been a really powerful way to continue to be involved with people so that they can learn while they earn. Hopefully that's the goal.
I love that. Thank you so much again, Tonya, and I look forward to having many more conversations with you. I would really want to encourage each and every one of you to drop a question down below. Anything that has to do with crypto, blockchain, the games your kids are playing with, and I will make sure to answer them in a future video. As always, please subscribe, like, and I will see you next time. Bye.